This video is just going to be one big mess. Hello everyone, Tasha here. Today's video is going to be a book review, maybe even a bit of a book talk, of A FAERIE'S REVENGE by Rachel Morgan. This is the 5th book in the Creepy Hollow series, and for me, as I'm filming it, this book came out today. The author, Rachel Morgan, was friendly enough to send me an ARC of this book, which I'm very thankful for. Thank you again, Rachel. So I read this book about 2 weeks ago. Has it been 2 weeks already? I'm not sure. I already read it, and I've already written a bit of a Goodreads review, so I will link that down below. If you haven't read the Creepy Hollow series, I filmed a video all about the series, just a general what it's about and what I like about it and that kind of thing. I will link it down below. So if you haven't read the series, don't watch this video because it will be full of spoilers. So A FAERIE'S REVENGE continues about 10 days after what happened in A Fairy's Secret, where Chase's identity is revealed. And at the beginning of A FAERIE'S REVENGE, we find out how Kala tries to cope with that and thinks about her feelings and how she feels about the big reveal. Obviously, Kala is really confused about her feelings because she did start liking Chase, but his actual identity... Big spoiler if you haven't read A Fairy's Secret, and I don't know why you're still here, but she's having a bit of trouble coming to terms that Chase is actually Nate or Draven. Obviously, he did some bad things in the past, and she's really conflicted about her feelings with everything. Most of this book, a lot of different things happened, and I'm like, okay, where is all of this heading? I was a bit confused. Just lots of different weird and mysterious things were happening in and around Creepy Hollow, but everything was resolved pretty quickly. I was like, okay, where is this heading? I was a bit confused, but in the end, everything was actually tied together and everything did make sense. And I was like, okay, that had to happen for this to happen and this had to happen for this to happen, so it did make sense and I wasn't confused anymore. Once again, as every Creepy Hollow book, A FAERIE'S REVENGE had me screaming at my Kindle, either in despair or excitement or shock. It doesn't matter, I'm always screaming at my Kindle when something big happens, and I don't know how Rachel Morgan does that, but as I said, it's happened with every Creepy Hollow book so far. All in all, I thought A FAERIE'S REVENGE was a fantastic sequel to A Fairy's Secret. Apart from that bit of confusion about where this book was heading, like where the story was heading, I really enjoyed this book and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I can't wait for the next book. I need to know how it continues. That was it for the spoiler-free bits. So if you haven't read this book, I would recommend you don't continue this video because it's gonna be spoilery. Even more spoilery. One of my favorite parts of this book was the insight that we got into Nate or Chase's past and what actually happened. Like from his point of view, what happened between the Fairy War and A Fairy's Secret up until the present of the book. I just loved that so much, and it made him so much more likable again after finding out that Chase is actually Nate. Because as Kala, I was also confused about what to think of him, but I love him so much. And another thing that has me a bit conflicted is the age difference that we are now aware of between Kala and Chase. Before, we didn't really know how old Chase was, but now, knowing that he is actually Nate and that he is about 28 years old and Kala is like 16, 17, something like that, I find it a bit weird. But I still ship them so much, and that kiss Their kiss was everything. I loved it so much. I reread it probably 4 or 5 times because I loved it so much. I just shipped them and I just want them to be happy. Oh my god. Another great bit was Victoria being born, aka Violet and Rin's daughter. And I loved that they named her after Tora. I didn't realize her actual name was Victoria, but I loved that they named her after her. Victoria! I think those were all my thoughts on A Fairy's Revenge. And if you've read the book, leave a comment down below with your thoughts. I would love to know about them and talk to you about them and discuss them. I just want more people to read these books and talk to people that have read the books. So leave some comments down below. And that was it for this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!